sad moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. From heartbreak to strength, the lessons unfold. It's about how we rise, not the stories we've told. Guests with their journeys, sharing their light. In every collision, there's power in sight. It's more than a talk, it's the wisdom we gain through every struggle, through every pain. With conversations that open the door to purpose, to power, to so much more. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. So come as you are, with your scars and fears. This is the place where the truth appears. Turn your trials into stepping stones. Find the strength to claim your throne. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. A collision with purpose, your journey starts here. In every conversation, we'll wipe away fear. Find your purpose, let your life ignite. With Dr. Stephenson, you'll find your light.
Right, greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Life-Changing Conversations, Inspire Action. Today, my guest is the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya. Leonard is a man of extraordinary vision, purpose, and impact. He's the president of the Collision with Purpose Movement, Africa Division, where his leadership during the 2025 Kenya Outreach Initiative helped ignite lasting change across communities through education, healthcare, and humanitarian support. In addition to this, he serves as president of the Elizabeth Sesawa Cancer Community-Based Organization, where he champions cancer awareness, advocacy, and access to care across underserved regions. He also holds the esteemed position of Chief of Staff to the Governor of Vihiga County, Kenya, bringing his sharp insight, strategic mind, and servant leadership to the forefront of governance and development. Leonard's life is a powerful example of what it means to lead with compassion, faith, and boldness. Today, we're diving into his story, a journey of purpose, resilience, and action that continues to inspire lives across Africa and beyond. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya to Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Actions. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Doc. First of all, I want to apologize for the inconveniences that have arose this evening because we were supposed to be on air by 7:05 Kenyan time. But in view of what has been happening in the country since morning, there were a bit of a challenge here and there, but that one is all gone. And we are here to talk to the world about where we want to go. So I'm great, and I'm deeply honored to be part of this platform today.
Thank you, sir. And I should say, welcome to life-changing conversation. And today we will inspire actions. So let's begin with a bit of your story. Who is Leonard Soita Kasaya? And when he's not wearing that title, honorable, who is this man?
Thank you so much, Doc. First of all, Leonard Soita Kasaya is a Kenyan citizen who was born very many years ago, almost 40 years ago, in Kakamega County, in a village called Luichi, from a humble family. I was raised and brought up in that village. I grew like any normal child in the village life. And the beginnings were not very well for those of us who were born in the early 80s. The beginnings were very humble. And I can attest to having seen it all as a child growing up in the village. After village, I had to move out of the village to try and discover my purpose after my high school. And the road was not very easy. It was a very rough road. I've shared some of my experiences with you, my president, with some of the people, the young generation whom I want to inspire in life. Because immediately after high school, I never joined college immediately. So as a young person who was still very aggressive, trying to find my purpose, I had to do a lot of gambles, which really delayed me in getting to my destiny and identifying exactly where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do in life. But all that is history. I can tell you for free, I've been a matatu conductor. I've been a truck driver for garbage collection. I've done all manual jobs in Nairobi industrial area, trying to get my leeway. But what really I can talk to the listeners, people who are listening to me, is resilience, determination, and not losing hope in where you want to go in life. The man who is speaking to you here, if at all, he never looked back and reflected on where he wanted to go, maybe I could not be on this show today, because there's quite a lot that happened.
You know, you're a man about service, and I thank you for sharing that with us. You're a man about service and leading and developing your community. What are some of the core values that helps to shape who you are? What are some of your core values?
One, discipline, resilience, and determination, and focus, Doc. They were my key four drivers that I can say they still hold me together up to now. And respect also.
And
Yes.
in your culture, respect is a big thing. Respect for the elderly, respect for others. Let's talk about respect. Why is respect so important?
In this world, across the world, even here locally, if you don't respect your elders, your contemporaries, and even the young people, nobody will also respect you. Respect is a give and take. You respect me, I respect you. You respect a child, he or she, in the upbringing, they'll also have respect for you. You respect your colleague, they'll respect you. So it has been a key co-driver in my life, Doc.
And you know, I should say that as a political leader, because you are the chief of staff for the governor of Vega County, you wear many hats, but also in the area of philanthropy that's a main piece of your work. And let's talk about respect in that area, because often when people are giving, they're the ones donating, they look down on the people they're donating towards, their serving. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those who you serve and why it's important to have the utmost respect for those people that you serve.
I think, Doc, my president of Coalition with Purpose movement, there are so many virtues that you pick up in life. And some of these positions, as you speak, actually, as my current position as a chief of staff, I want to tell you that actually I've come from a very different background. One, I've been an elected member of county assembly. I've been a deputy speaker. I've been a regional manager for Coca-Cola, Kenya. I've had an opportunity to serve in so many organizations, private organizations, in different portfolios. And my background, where I came from, my background, my finance and my marketing background always tells me that for you to get any meaningful reproach in any issue that you attack, there must be respect. And this respect is mutual. And the moment you put respect ahead of everything, everything flows and the system itself starts working for you. And that is the biggest thing that you should hold, because you must respect the people who are senior, who are junior, the people who are supporting the system, and they'll reciprocate. And the moment they reciprocate, then things start flowing seamlessly.
And we're talking about respect, because for so many leaders these days, that is not a word that they practice enough. So respect is important. It's important as a leader, as someone who you're serving, and as someone who's doing the serving. So, but let's talk a little bit about the beginning of a divine collision. Your path. How did your path intersect with a Collision with Purpose movement? And what inspired the birth of a Collision with Purpose movement in Africa? What inspired that?
First of all, I want to talk about a coincidence that led me to come across Coalition with Purpose, an international movement. And it's a very moving story. And because we are live, I want to make it very clear. For me, I didn't just search on the internet. When I met a friend, Elizabeth Sitawa, who was a cancer fighter in Kenya. First of all, through social media, she became a friend. I was really following her story, and it really moved me so much. Then I said, God, what can I do? When I look at this story of Elizabeth, it really reminds me of how many people are suffering in Kenya. So I got so much attracted about Elizabeth. Then I said, fine. If there is any way I can support Elizabeth, even get a painkiller or get an orange or get a fruit that will make her conquer the cancer scourge, then let me get into this. I never consulted anybody. It was my conscience that told me that, Leonard, you need to get in and support this. And not Elizabeth's case alone. As a leader in this sub-Saharan African place, we have a lot of challenges. We have a lot that is happening. Our economy is not performing. There's a lot of people who are suffering, people who are living. I can attest to it that we have people who never see even $1 in 1 month, and they are surviving. So you can imagine what kind of life is this. Then I asked myself, I can give, and I've been giving. So I want to join this bandwagon and see that this Elizabeth also becomes a friend and see how I can give her an inch. And I'm very happy to talk, Doc. Elizabeth has taught me so many things again through her fight of cancer. She's more resilient. She's more determined. She's so strong. I want to talk this, even if she's watching, I don't fear, because I always have hard conversations with her. There are people who came, whom I've been supporting equally, who came after I knew her. who are not there at the moment. But the determination and the zeal that Elizabeth is fighting gives me hope and say that I need to give more support and give more people. And that's what made me now to join this Coalition with Purpose, international and Coalition with Purpose movement, because the moment she introduced me to the president of Coalition with Purpose International Movement, I found a man whose values, whose virtues, whose approach to life almost resonated to what I wanted to be and the person I would want to emulate and continue serving mankind. Yeah.
You know, I thank you for that. You know, through Elizabeth's talk, introducing you to myself and the A Collision with Purpose, we've built a brotherhood, not just a relationship, but we've become brothers. For albeit we live across the ocean, right, the Atlantic Ocean, but we've built that relationship, and that relationship again is based upon trust, it's based upon service, and it's based upon doing the right thing all the time. So what does this movement that started out as a company, talking about a Collision with Purpose, started out as a company, became a movement, and especially in Kenya, what does this movement mean to you personally? Not just in a title, of course, you're the president of the Africa division, but in spirit as well. What does it mean to you?
It means quite a lot, Doc. It means quite a lot to me. It's something that has made me to discover my purpose, and it is something that is really, really touching me. When I look at the Kenyan Outreach 2025 with the team that Coalition with Purpose International visited the country with, the quality, the caliber of the individuals, their characters, their giving hearts, their humility towards others, it really taught me a lot of things. And I want to assure you that for Coalition with Purpose Africa, it's going to be a conglomerate. And we have already put in place
We're having some technical difficulties, but the Honorable Lenny will come back on. And yes, you're watching life-changing conversations to inspire actions. And my guest is the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya. He is the president of A Collision with Purpose Africa. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, he will join us.
A trail is written of hearts that strive. Through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears, becoming iron through trials and fears. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron rose where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light, they becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. In the tales of old and the battles new, convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light, they become iron in the endless fight. They become iron in the endless fight. In the tales of old and the battles new, convictions light sees them through.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Life-Changing Conversation to Inspire Actions. My guest today is none other than the honorable man himself, Leonard Kasaya, and together we're inspiring action. So, Leonard, before we got cut off there, we were talking about the vision behind the 2025 Kenya Outreach Initiative. What were the driving motivations and hopes behind that initiative? Can you share that with our listeners?
There was quite a lot. And from the beginning, the energy that the planning, first of all, from planning. You see, you have to plan. If you fail to plan, then you are failing. So the initial planning stages, which involved a lot of coordination between me and the president and the CFO, our CFO, Dr. Donna Thompson. I think this was the beginning of everything. And the trust and the belief that the team that my president bestowed upon me really gave me a lot of energy to plan for this Kenya outreach. And I want to just appreciate the awesome team of my president, the CFO. When we met at the point of landing, then I saw a team that was ready to work. And the moment they landed in Kenya, they hit the road running. And for the 14 days they've been in the country, there was no rest. Actually, we started moving and doing our intentions. And we had, as I told you earlier, we had a plan. We had a plan on what we wanted to do. One, how are we going to reach the disadvantaged, the children living in the orphanages, the schools that have got needs where sanitation issues were a problem, where we have built toilets, where we have taken sanitation, where we have taken clothes to students, where we have taken shoes even to students. Today I was looking at the picture of the students who are barefooted now in shoes, and it was totally amazing. It really moved me. The children that we visited in the orphanage who had very sad stories, how they found themselves there. The caretakers, the mothers and the foster parents who have taken charge to check and see that these kids also have a place they can call home. Some have been abused even by their biological parents. Some have been abandoned. Some were just thrown and left a child of even 2 days. And it was really a sad moving. Some moments the whole team could shed tears, could get into crying, but we said, me and my president, we remain firm, because if everybody emotionally breaks, then we are not going to the second point. And every situation that we found had its own unique challenges that needed people with a lot of goodwill, people with a human heart, men and women the great men and women who sacrificed to make this happen and to give whatever they have to sacrifice for this. I want just to say, may God bless them and replenish their pockets.
You know, Honorable Lenny, you said something about trust and how important is trust, because we have had different outcomes working with different individuals in Kenya. And I want to disclose that while you and I and Dr. Donna, we've been communicating by phone, this was our first time that we actually had a meeting. We met each other. However, that did not deter us from building trust. And I'm saying that because many individuals are doing work in places like Kenya and elsewhere. And the one and most important thing is to have a footprint, have some foundation there, have someone that you can trust. And you, sir, I have to tell you, is that person for a collision with purpose. And you sure delivered. You are the one person that I know that will reduce the cost. Most people add to the cost for reasons, obvious reasons. You made sure we paid less every single time for every initiative. And for that, I want to say thank you on behalf of our CFO, because you know how she is, right? I want to say thank you for doing that for us. And because you did that, you made it possible for us to use the savings to do more things for the individuals who really need the support. So thank you again for that. You know, we're grateful to you for that and for all the other things that you did. Now, let's talk about execution and impact. You know, we went from scholarships to sanitation projects to cultural exchange. The initiative, as you said earlier, touched many lives. Many of our team members shed tears, right? What moments or milestones stand out most to you?
I think when I looked at the gentlemen of Coalition with Purpose International who traveled with you, Doc, in this country, and we had a plan on what we intended to do. But along the way, as we got into situations, we had to come up quickly with another plan B so that we fix some of the issues that we found that were more demanding to us. And you see, it calls for sacrifice because initially some of the occurrences that we made were not part of our plans. And sometimes what I want to encourage the listeners, the viewers, is you need in your plans, you need also back of your mind, you need to have in the event that something else comes up, what do we do? So that's one of the virtues that I learned from the men and women, the great men and women that we had. And everybody was unique in his or her own way. Apart from providing the material, the financial support that could go directly to touch on these people, there were a lot of great speakers in our team who could inspire the people, who could inspire the generations. And one thing that came out from the team from the United States is you see, there's a dream that we have. And most of us in our sub-Saharan African, we think about that maybe if I get my foot in the United States, then I'm going to harvest manna and get everything. But this story is different when you listen it from the horse's mouth and the people there. Because I'm sure that immediately when this team got back to the United States of America, everybody is quiet and is gotten back to their ways of life. And it's not as easy as we think. But what am I saying is we need to come up with a way. And I want to quote one of our visitors, Yvonne, sustainability. You see, we don't need a friend from very many thousand miles to just come and realize that your next door neighbor is sleeping hungry. The child of your neighbor is walking to school barefooted. When your child has got 10 pairs of shoes, some that are even not fitting him or her, you've kept them. You know, we need to think through this, my fellow brothers and sisters who are watching this. If you have something that you can donate, that's what came out. If you have something that you can donate so that it can be of use to somebody else, let us learn how to give. And another issue is sacrifice. I have never seen people who have come to the country. Most of the people who visit Kenya come here for holiday and merrymaking and go clubbing, which was rare from the team that I had. And the team, it has taught me a lot of things. Even when you travel, you need to have a purpose of your travel. And when you travel, even for leisure, kindly see that you are imparting something to the community, to the society, and to the people that you are meeting along your travel. Thank you, Doc.
I thank you for that, because from day one you had a plan for us. You had a plan for us, and yes, there were some changes, but every single time, each time we changed, this was for something better. It was for a good reason. So, and you talk about our team members, but I want you to talk about the folks you brought to the table from Kenya, because this was not just us from the United States. You had some powerful people on board as well, representing you and the Ecologian with Purpose, Africa movement. So can you talk about those individuals as well and the role they played?
Oh my goodness. I think everybody that we worked with was great. First of all, I want to start with a person who really made our trip to all the corners of this country, because I think we worked in over 5 to 6 counties on this trip alone. And moving across those counties from Nairobi, because we started in Nairobi, there's a guy called Ben, our very, very great and reliable driver who understands this country very well. He made it happen. Congratulations to him. I have my team of service delivery team from the county government of Vihiga. That is Edgar, Luane, and Alex. They are great people because they understand exactly. They have read my mind, I've read their mind, and I know what they can do. There is Winston, another great man who is a very big asset of Coalition and Purpose Africa, and that man can mutate into anything, can be anything that you want him to be. A very great man. Of course, Elizabeth was there and her team, a very, very great man, a very, very great lady, a very, very strong lady, and the gem that holds us together, somebody who has united us and who has made us now to go out of our way, because she has also introduced us to other fighters who are fighting this scourge of cancer, and we are really moving together. We are supporting each other and encouraging them. We have Madam Joyce Hacho, the secretary of the CBO of Elizabeth Sitawa Cancer CBO, a very great lady. Madam Marceline of Kapchepsip School in Cherengani, a very great asset to this team. Not forgetting even the young dudes, the Daniel that we had, the young students, the young scholarship students that we had, who are really moving with a vision of Coalition with Purpose. I want just to say, awesome team. And not forgetting the government that we worked with, particularly His Excellency the Governor, Dr. Wilbur Otichlo of the county government of Vihiga, and his entire staff that he gave us in every department that this team visited. Because you had programs to do with climate change where you really did a lot in terms of reclamation of Maragoli Forest, Hills Forest. You had a program where you visited the orphanage. You had a program where you had a Department of Education, the school that you built. You are building, you are going to supply a water tank. You have given shoes to the students. You have built them a toilet. You have given them sanitary towels. The teachers of the schools that we visited, the parents, the PTA, the students, Doc, I think Coalition with Purpose Africa, Kenya is too big. I can mention and never stop mentioning, because every day we are growing. Every day we are becoming attractive. And our motto now is we want to attract and pull together people of like-minded people who can offer their self and come out of the comfort to try and look at how we can change life. We can change our purpose in life, and we can change some other people's purpose in life.
Yeah, you've said so much there. And I recall when I was speaking at the school that you just mentioned, and didn't notice it at the time, but looking back at the photos, we saw that so many of those students didn't have shoes on. And as we narrowed in on that, we, the Collision with Purpose team, all of us, from Kenya and the United States and Jamaica, because that was the makeup of the team, we decided that we couldn't leave Kenya until we made sure those students, those children, have shoes. And I'm so happy to say that today you shared a photo of them receiving 98 students. Now they're all wearing shoes. Is there anyone left at the school, any students that you can say is not wearing shoes, don't have shoes?
Doc, I think the school is very happy. The school is very happy. The parents are very happy. The PA chair, the patron, everybody is very amazed. The community is very amazed. And I think this will go a long way now to unlock a situation. I know it's not by design that those students were barefooted. The way I said, there are so many factors that are affecting the way we are living, the challenges that we have as a nation. Those parents for sure may not have had anything and they could not afford to supply that. But I think the step that we have carried on, after this shoe gets worn out, I think the parent will start thinking, how will my child feel when this shoe gets worn out and he gets back to barefoot? So in one way or another, we are trying to encourage the parents to try and struggle. I know they are struggling, but they will not allow maybe the children to go back to shoeless again situation.
You know, talking about a moment during the outreach that moved you deeply, for me, that was one of the moments. That was my moment. Being able to provide 98 shoes for these young angels, the future of their community, the future of Kenya, and the future of the world. Is, as a leader, what was that one moment for you that moved you so much, that changed your perspective on leadership?
I think as a leader, maybe this is where we also get wrong. Sometimes we have been leaders even in this nation and in this country, but we rarely get time to spend with the less privileged people to really understand what their challenges are. And for me, this outreach was an eye-opener to some situations which maybe I thought I knew them, but for sure I was learning for them for the first time. So it was really a very big eye-opener, and it has changed my perception again to the way we look at these institutions. When you see the institution, they get closed, you think everything is okay, everything is happening in the rightful way. But the moment you get in and they open the doors for you, they open their hearts to you, you realize there is quite a lot that we need to do as leaders, we need to do as parents, we need to do as people who are privileged in one way or another to be in a position of advantage than the others.
You know, I thank you for sharing that. The next set of questions I have for you, Honorable Lenny, is not just for us, but I want you to answer them through the lens of a person who's talking to other leaders in your community and in your country. So I want to talk about the power of teamwork and legacy. Many of our team members have described you as strategic, compassionate, and a hands-on leader during our initiative there. Now, I want you to define leadership in the context of service and community impact. And you're doing this now. You're speaking to not just us, you're speaking to your other leaders with it in Kenya and elsewhere.
I think leadership is a position of privilege that God has given us, the people have given us. And for us to lead very well, I think the most important thing is we should try and dig in and understand the people that we are leading. First of all, their backgrounds, their challenges, their achievements, their strengths. We do like a SWOT analysis. of the people that we want to lead or that we are leading. Once we do that, I think it will give us a deeper meaning and a deeper sense. And what I can only tell my fellow leaders is we are living in a society that has got a lot of disadvantages. And for each one of us, we must get out of our ways, go back and look at the people who are disadvantaged. At least if you uplift even one person. And I want to quote a great man whom we visited with you, Prof, at your initiation, Professor PLO Lumumba, a very great scholar, a very great Kenyan, a man with a very big mind and very big thoughts. And I quote the book that he told us from Dick Mutombo, one of the greatest basketballers, that when the elevator lifts you up, allow it to go down and pick another person and try and also bring him up. And not the elevator story alone. If you get up, try and bring 3 or 4 more people who will come again. Once they are elevated, they will carry another group. Then you will find that instead of the community going down, and this I want to give an example. When I was a leader, because of my previous positions, I was in a position of advantage. And one thing that I remember having done was I struggled to bring electricity alone to my home. But when I was in leadership, I asked myself so many questions. How are my neighbors and my relatives and the people in the community that I was living in feeling like? So one of the life-changing things that I did as a leader was, I said, even that poor lady with a structure that is not very good, she must get electricity in her house. And I made sure that I got electricity for almost 1,000 families. To date, when I look at that, I say, at least I did something for my people. And it will remain in their hearts, whether it is for a day or because I know it will take another longer period before such a thing is realized with that number of magnitude. So that is a simple thing. There is another thing that I thought about, which is clean water. I got some donors who are willing to support our community with at least getting clean treated water and water that had been protected. So we did a lot of springs that were protected so that at least we remove these people from utilizing contaminated water and what. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is when you are in leadership, think about how can you change the other person who is not in a position of leadership or who is disadvantaged so that he or she can feel your position in leadership.
You know, you talk about leadership in such a passionate way, and that's because you are that type of leader. You show empathy, you're compassionate, and I'm saying this because that is my experience working with you. Now, another critical element that I want you to talk about is the power of collaboration. And what role did collaboration play in the success of our outreach program? And what lessons do you want to share for future visitors to Kenya in terms of global partnership, and what lessons you want to share with them? Talk to us about collaboration.
One, collaborations across the world is the driving force that can make anything happen. Because you cannot work alone, or you cannot work in isolation, or you cannot work as an island. You need people, you need the team that you are collaborating with. They are the ones who are going to coordinate even your visit. They are the ones who are going to coordinate your activities. They are the ones who are going to coordinate so that, one, you don't get yourself into wrong hands. You know, the world is changing and we have scammers across everywhere. and everybody wants to take advantage of situations. And wants to take advantage of situations as they may arise. And there are people who are too selfish that they want everything that can get their way. They want to get into, there's a difficult question I always put across myself. Doc, I don't see why I should have, let's say, 1 million shillings in my account when we have children who do not have shoes, when we have children who are not going to school because of lack of school fees, when we have people who are sleeping hungry because they cannot afford even food, they cannot afford something to put on the table and put it to their family. And if all of us would change our perception towards life and say, let us be each other's brother's keeper and move together and share our problems, I think I look sometimes at my African leaders. You have got 10 vehicles at your disposal. You have got a huge tracts of land. You have got a lot of money stashed in your accounts, both here and foreign. Then in your country, backyard, there are children who are walking barefoot. For friends like Coalition with Purpose to come from the United States to come and realize that this was not happening. It's a very, very sad story. And I want to be very honest with myself and my people also. It's quite unfair. If you are living even closer to a school, that children are having a problem to have even sanitation, toilet facility. Children are walking to school barefooted, and you have kept your shoes, old shoes under the drawer. You can afford even 2 pairs of shoes. If all of us would give, I don't see any reason. God will give us, and if he doesn't give you, he will bless even your generation to come.
You know, what is the requirement to be kind? You know, that is the question. And often too many believe that you must have a lot to be kind. And sometimes it's just a word that people need. Just a small act of kindness. You know, so I am so happy that you're talking about the importance of giving, sharing, because that is something that is clearly a problem, not just in Kenya, but everywhere, where some have so much and others are lacking. And far too often it is people that look like me, look like you, who are living in that state. So that's something that we here at the Collision with Purpose, we're going to do our part. And when I say that, I mean the international arm and the African arm of a Collision with Purpose. Now, let's talk about the Collision with Purpose Africa, because it's not just about Kenya, is it?
I think we agreed in principle, Mr. President, Doc, that after this visit, we are beginning on a new chapter, and we are beginning on a way that we need to see how do we touch lives? How do we make people realize that we can make a difference in our own lives, in their own lives? Of course, with the initiatives, we are going to look at you as we grow. This Coalition with Purpose Africa devolved it to Kenya, because Kenya is where it is starting from, as we move to the other countries. But we want to put a very strong foundation here in Kenya. And I'm appealing to every willing Kenyan who wants to walk in purpose and who wants to support any initiatives that we are going to do and that we are going to carry out, which we have already started. Because even this week, we are going to reach out we have not finished the outreach that we did this week as part of the mission of 25 outreach. This weekend, we are going to meet the elders who are almost 95 years and above, with some presents and some goodies that were donated by the team, so that we just make them comfortable. And that's when I'm going to take it, because we have a lady who is 96, we have another one 95, we have another one at 100, and more that are above 90 that we want to go and just visit and put a smile on their face. We shall have breakfast with them. We want to see what kind of lifestyle they are leading, if there's a way we can support them again, because we want to visit each one of them in their individual homes so that we see for ourselves the situation. Do they have medication? Do they have food? Because we may be talking to them outside, but right inside their house, they may not be having food. We want to see how are they managing their health? Do they have even the drugs? So we have a situation that we need to seriously address, and that one, I can assure you, we are going to carry it on. We are pulling together a very strong movement that you will be of people with action, and men and women who feel like they want to change the world, they want to change Kenya, they want to change Africa, and we work together with Coalition International, and we are looking together on the collaborations and on supports in the areas that we can support each other. You support us to grow, then once we attain sustainability, we stand on our own, we stand alone, but now you come in to oversight and see that everything, and we are not derailing from the vision and the mission of the Coalition with Purpose International.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, for me personally, and having had conversation with our CFO, Dr. Donna Thompson, this outreach initiative far exceeded my expectations. Now, for you, what surprised you most about the impact of this outreach initiative on the communities, on the team, on yourself? What surprised you the most about the impact? Because the impact was huge.
What was the energy in the team members? The energy, the resilience, the kindness. It gave me, whenever I used to feel like I want to give up, we are getting tired, it gave me the energy and the drive and the zeal to say that, man, we are going to conquer the summit of this thing. Let us push on, and let us push on harder and harder and harder, and it became. And by the end of it all, everybody was very strong, everybody was healthy. And I think because of the mission, God was with us so that we finish this thing in the most successful way, that it will leave memories on people that we visited, on ourselves to reflect. Because personally, I'm still reflecting, and every day I sleep, I come up with a new idea. What else can we do? Whom can we talk to? So that maybe we pull together people who have got the same vision that we carry. Then we move together as a united force.
Let's take a minute and acknowledge some of the folks who are watching us. And I want to read some comments, right? There are quite a few. So let's start with Alex. He said he's following live from Kenya. Let's start Elizabeth Sitawa, our friend who we claim away from you. You said you talk about her as part of your team in Kenya, but we claim her as well. Elizabeth says that, thank you for holding me. You are a great friend, Honorable Lenny. And Dr. Donna, our CFO, said hello. Dr. Jackie, she was on the trip, said hello. And Dr. Donna said, yes, we must be kind and share with each other. And Elizabeth said, it is therapeutic to be kind. Lynn said, teamwork and legacy equal productivity and generational transformation. How important is that? We have Earl. Edgar said, following live from Kenya, he's humbled. Lisa Richmond, US, said, good afternoon, Dr. Laxley and friends. Good afternoon, Lisa. And Lynn said, when in position of advantage, leave a rich legacy by uplifting others. And let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, Lynn said, collaboration give long-term effects. And Dr. Hilda Hebert said, so true, to be our brother's keeper is important in encouraging meaningful collaboration. Gladys said, wow, the elevator theory sounds deep. I would say a leader is one able person who thinks and does things without. I see Honorable Leonard before he does something for himself or family. He's looking around and asking, what about my neighborhood? This is such a golden heart, worth emulating. And Ben, the man that who protected us, said 2 weeks of outreach 2025 here in Kenya gave hope to so many young people, community at large, and even those who are in leadership today. God bless a Coalition with Purpose movement for preaching hope and touching many lives in different. So it's going on and on. So we're going to get back to our conversation. But I want to say thank you to everyone who's sharing and participating in our conversation today, in life-changing conversations to inspire action. My guest is the Honorable Hon Leonard Soita Kasaya, the president of the A Coalition with Purpose Africa movement. And he's also many other things, of course, but that's what we're talking about today. So, Honorable Lenny, let's go into reflections and takeaway, right? If you could speak, and you can, director, to every student, orphan, or family that was touched by this mission, what would you say to them?
My biggest statement to them is those children that we visited, their parents, and wherever we met the parents, they were awesome. They were very humble, and they are still grateful to this minute, and they are appreciating. And to the children my prayer is God to give them good health, to give them enough wisdom so that they read and get very good grades, that they'll remember that somebody touched their lives at one point. My thinking would be, we have formed a relationship with these institutions, and we are going to open up more, because the needful situation in this country is dire, Doc, and I'm appealing to any well-wisher. It may not be through Coalition with Purpose, but any small deed that you will extend to somebody who is in need now, it will be a blessing to you and your family, and you will be remembered. And for those of us who want to join the goodwill and the bandwagon of Coalition with Purpose, our doors are open. We are going to have conversations. We are going to put everything. We are going to work up in an open system where we want to have as many people as we can of goodwill. And the team that sacrificed for Coalition with Purpose, President, the Deputy President, the CFO, all the elders that traveled with you, the gentlemen, the great ladies and women who sacrificed never to come to go to our coastal beaches, but decided to walk in the bushes, to walk in the mud, and finish their holiday working on the last day. I want to say, may God Almighty broaden their borders, replenish their pockets, bring on board more friends when they come next time for the 2026 outreach.
For the 2026 outreach. And as you know, time moves so fast. So that will be here before you know it. So, Honorable Lenny, one of my principles that I live by, a question that I always ask is, what is next? And we're talking about the vision forward. What is next? Where do we go from here? What is next for the A Coalition with Purpose movement, Africa? What is next?
We are running. We are not sitting down. We are putting together a few things. We are developing a very big website. We are opening ourselves to the world, to the men and women and ladies and gents, and even the young people, the generation that want to walk with us, because you can never walk alone. We try and see how we're going to touch and impact on people's life. I think sacrifice is what we are talking about, and determination on how we are going to go forward. Yeah.
Sacrifice, determination, and I know that the A Coalition with Purpose movement Africa and the members, they have the will. And this is something that they're truly committed to. But we celebrated a bit as well there was some music, right, involved. There was a group of musicians that blessed us. We also brought with us a musician or two musicians from the United States. One was Joey West and Shella Topstar. But Joey West did something so powerful. I know he played for your governor, your boss, and he also played for all these students, orphans, and students in school. How important and powerful was that?
That was a game changer in this. And that's why I say the group that traveled had people of different profession and of different talents. And I think Joe West was the man who could make us relax after a very tough day, because listening to that saxophone, which is an musical equipment that most of the time here we have very few people who are playing it, was really a very great game changer. And he was the fun of the team. And I could see him play the local Isukuti with some young people dancing to the song of Bob Marley, mixing. That was blend of the African and the Anglo, the saxophone and the local Isukuti thing. I think it was awesome. Sometimes when I'm bored, I just look at that, then I say, oh my, this was great. Yeah.
And you will carry that memory because it's recorded. My favorite song that he played, and it was so important to me, was Africa Unite, one of Bob Marley's songs. Because that is where Africa is at that place right now where we must unite as a people.
Of course, that is the way to go, Doc.
That's absolutely the way to go. So we talk about where we're going now. How can people, whether they're in Kenya, other parts of Africa, in the United States, Jamaica, or wherever, how can they get involved, support, or join this movement called A Collision with Purpose? How can they support or join?
I think ours is we are going to create a platform that is going to be an enabler to every willing person. It doesn't matter which side of the world you are coming from. As long as you carry the same vision with ours, we will incorporate you. We will work together. We will welcome you. And we also want to conquer the world. We want to see what we can do. We are only not talking about Africa. We are talking about, we want to get that global outreach and be a movement that is going to change the perception of everything on the world.
We're stronger in numbers when we're aligned, when we are of the same mindset. It is my expectation that by the end of year 2025, we'll have 1 million plus members of the A Collision with Purpose across the globe. And with that is what I'm seeing. That's what I expect. And I would recommend and suggest to anyone who's already a member on any of our platforms to invite like-minded people to join. The A Collision with Purpose Movement Africa, we started a Facebook page. We're working on the website. And I'm encouraging you, invite like-minded friends. We need you on board because it is through you, through your mindset and your conversation, that we will be able to achieve our objectives. So we need your support. Now, in terms of reflection, Honorable Lenny, when all is said and done, let's talk about your legacy. You're a man of service. What do you want your legacy to be in this season of service?
One, there are two words that I always feel like should be written that should be encrypted on my crypt when I'm not there. That's just, this was a great man. And what I want to do in the world is to try as possible to increase the outreach of touching so many disadvantaged people. Personally, as a leader, I have some students that I'm supporting to go through their education. I have initiatives that I'm trying to see how many people I can try to push to register even for the health insurance. so that it can be able to help them, because they are not in a position themselves to support themselves. Two, because of the outreach, I've learned quite a lot that is happening. For sure, were it not for the 2025 outreach, yes, I've been visiting the orphanages, I've been visiting, but I wasn't more keen to listen to details. I have these gender-based violence centers. I wasn't very keen to listen to the stories, but the stories that I got out of the 2025 outreach, I think whatever little that can remain for me, or whatever little that I have, I think I need to be a father to some of these fatherless children, abused children, so that they can also feel that there was somebody was here who represented a father figure and gave us something to sustain us even for a day or even for an hour. That's my focus. And moving forward, I think it's just to remain philanthropic and offer support where my hands and my limits can stretch to.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm gonna, before we go, and I do have a couple more questions, but I want to play a video. And let's just check it out for a few minutes. It's turned upside down, but it's all about the music. So that was our final night. We were having some fun. Maybe had a few too many. That was our final night. Well, sure, we're having some fun. That was the musicians and sending us off in fine style. And we really appreciate that. We want you to give them our love, when you talk to them, because music is a big part of everything that we do here at A Collision with Purpose. Now, finally, what does a life of purpose mean to you now? What does a life of purpose mean to you? What does it look like moving forward?
I think when you live in purpose, you are sanctified. You are living in God. You are living a pure life, and you are living a life of giving. That's what it takes. Yeah.
All right. So as we draw down on our millennium, here's an opportunity for you to make a final statement on this platform today, on life-changing conversation to inspire action. I would like you to inspire action right now with your final statement.
I think, my brothers and brethren and sisters, where we are, we need to reflect upon ourselves, look at our positions of advantage, look at our positions of disadvantage, look at our neighbors, look at our friends, compare their lives, and see where you feel that you are more advantaged. Kindly share. Where you feel like you are not we are disadvantaged, it's very important also to share, because out of it, somebody can inspire an action in you that can create some purposeful living in yourself. So every day as we wake up, we need to reflect upon ourselves. God, thank you for giving me the gift of life to wake up. But as you go and sleep, ask yourself, what have you done that can change the universe, or that can change somebody's life, or that can have an impactful meaning on somebody's life? Those are the very, very key items that, to me, I think is very important in life. And one thing that I want just to tell everybody is, let us not be materialistic, but let us think about sharing. Thank you.
Sharing is the name of the game. Thank you so much, Honorable Lenny, for blessing us today. And folks, That brings us to the end of today's life-changing conversation to inspire actions. We have heard the heart, the mission, and the unwavering dedication of the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya, a man whose life reminds us that true leadership is rooted in service and that one person can indeed spark a movement. As you go forward, I want each of you who are listening to us today or who will listen to the replay, ask yourself, what action can I take today that could change someone's tomorrow? Purpose isn't something we wait for. It is something we walk in daily. I want to thank you for joining us today on Life-Changing Conversation to Inspire Actions. Stay inspired, stay intentional, and remember, your story, your purpose, your impact, it matters. It makes a difference. Until next time, keep taking action that changes life. Blessings always.
We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love